Hello my fellow jellyfish, welcome back to my channel. I was always obsessed with the idea of drawing gold. Not just using gold paint, but painting the idea of gold. I'm talking about the real magic trick there is taking dull yellows, muddy browns and deep purples and manipulating them until your brain is absolutely convinced it's looking at shiny reflective metal. And after I had the amazing idea of making a Magic the Gathering token for my partner Alex, I could not procrastinate on it. Well, today I'm putting 3 of the more popular gold watercolor tutorials to the test to see which one of them creates realistic gold. We are going to be painting a circle, a cube and a ring with each method, just to find out which one is truly the best. Let's get into it. I am following the tutorial of these 3 artists: Stylus and Bloom, Danica Sills, and Rhodes, watercolor artist. Each one of them has their own approach to creating that elusive gold shine. And to keep it fair, I'm using the same watercolor paper and the same set of brushes for all these 9 paintings. My goal is to see how each method handles the 3 different objects and how I like to work with them. We are starting with Stylus and Bloom. What I like about this tutorial is that she provides both the reference photo and the drawing. The core philosophy here is to create both softness and texture. The colors she used are raw sienna, yellow ochre and gamboge, burnt umber and Payne's grey. In this particular video, she does not mention how diluted the paints are, so I'm going with a milk consistency for most. What I find interesting is that she starts with the darker color. Usually with watercolor you use the lightest color first. Because I wanted 3 tutorials to be the same, I am not using the key reference. Like I said, a circle, a cube and a ring. I also try to not blindly copy anyone, but understand how to paint the golden color. I think I am at a disadvantage here. I think I can see less colors, or my screen has less colors, because she is talking about orange-brown bits and I just cannot see it. I really liked her use of hatching, stippling and wet in wet techniques, because it creates texture for the separate pieces. What I find disappointing for my own work is the fact that I need a reference. My fantasy pieces rely on multiple references, and most of the time they have different light sources, direction of light, and even with studies I need to apply it to my own understanding instead of copying it. Before we get to our next tutorial, if you're finding this helpful and want to see more videos like this, now would be a great time to hit that subscribe button. It really helps the channel out. With the Danica Sills tutorial, I immediately noticed a difference from the first one. Danica starts with a breakdown of how she paints gold, and she actually uses a circle to show it. Her philosophy can be summed up in one powerful phrase: contrast equals shininess. She does not give me any colors, unfortunately, but I'm guessing she starts with or lemon yellow or pale yellow. The next glaze looks to me like yellow ochre. I just said I might see less colors, so I could be wrong, but I am using lemon yellow and yellow ochre for my try. I think I see burnt sienna and burnt umber as well. I went through the description and the comments to see if the colors were written down somewhere, but alas, no luck. It is up to my own observation. And I observed she used a strong yellow color after her darkest color to blend it all together, and she said she liked to use warmer colors in the shadows. I think it depends on the surroundings, but let's do this. She also mentioned purple, and since purple is a complementary color of yellow, it might be interesting. A very important tip that I heard is that you have to be aware where the light source is coming from. I love to have the light come from the upper left corner, and sometimes I put an arrow in the corner that shows me where the light is coming from. Hello fellow jellyfish, I want to take some time to tell you that this video is possible through you watching and donations on Ko-fi. It is like buying virtual coffee, and those coffees add up and go directly into paper, paint, and the time needed to create these videos. If you have a good time and would like to help bring more ideas like this to life, please consider supporting the channel on my Ko-fi page. Every donation helps me keep creating. The link is in the description. We are now doing Rebecca Rhodes' watercolor artist tutorial. Her whole philosophy is about patience and repetition. I did this for last because patience is not my strong suit. But this method isn't about a quick win. It's about building up color and value slowly and deliberately, one thin layer at a time. I noticed right away that this video sounded and looked more like a tutorial from a teacher. It's a bit more serious. The previous ones were lovely, and this one goes just that one step further for when you are starting with watercolor. I was able to get a list of colors that she used. This is in the video. She says she does not use wet and wet for this piece, so every layer has to dry before applying a new layer. And she also has a specific formula. One thing that I noticed is that there is no white left. The entire bell is painted with the first layer of lemon yellow, and this surprised me. Gold usually has a sharp highlight, so I expected more white left in a painting. It doesn't really scream shiny to me anymore, but it does read as gold. But I think the main drawback of this version is the time that you need to commit to the painting. So now we have 9 paintings, 3 objects and 3 different techniques. So let's put them all side by side. So these are the 3 tutorials that I followed. There were a couple of things that were difficult. For the first one, from Stylus and Bloom, I discovered I didn't have raw sienna. I thought I had raw sienna, but it disappeared, so I do not have raw sienna. Which is a bummer, so I could not follow it exactly. I did have burnt sienna, but I didn't use it in this one. One of the things that I really liked was the fact that she used different techniques, so stippling, hatching, and wet and wet. So you can see it a bit here. I like the stippling technique. The hatching gives a bit more structure, and you can see it here as well. For the Danica Sills version, this one, I didn't know what kind of color she used. She just started painting with yellows and I just had to guess. so that's a bummer. So I used my own version of yellow ochre, gamboge, pale yellow, burnt umber, burnt sienna, and paint gray. It's a bit more loose because I did not follow a reference here. I just went with, I see how this went out, how this went, so I kind of follow that. And I really like how the ring came out in this one. I like how the circle of the ball went with this one, but I really like the circle here. Probably because there is a lot more going on, so the gold is more vibrant. With Rhodes, I had a lot of difficulty getting it right, probably because I did not let it dry enough to have it in her way. I also do not like the colors. I think it's too pale. She later on said that she put more Indian yellow and gamboge in there, so I put a bit more of the pale yellow in there, which gave it a bit more vibrancy, but I do not like how it came out. I do like the fact that she is working in a lot of layers, so you don't just start with one layer, you start with like a lot of layers. And the fact that she made a map in gray, so the darkest areas were a bit more gray than the rest. So what have I learned? I learned that I'm probably going to use yellow ochre, gamboge, pale yellow. I'm going to use those three for my gold drawings, for my gold paintings. Burnt sienna, Payne's gray is all fine, but I'm probably going to use a combination of all three. So I'm going to use the layering from Rhodes. I'm going to use the way that it is structured from Stylus and Bloom. And I'm going to get the more loose elements and what I've learned from there from Danica Sills. However, the best technique really depends on what you are painting and the vibe you're going for. And I really want to hear from you. Looking at all 9 of these paintings, which method do you think created the most convincing gold? Which one did you like the most, and which one are you most excited to try for yourself? Let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching this video. Next video I will work on the treasure token, so be there. Subscribe to the channel if you do not want to miss it. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. See you next video.
Let us follow the starlight and float into the next day. Let's end this now in the night and find our own special way. Goodbye, my dear, see you next time till we meet again.